Siberia is one of the most awe-inspiring and enigmatic regions on Earth, spanning the vast majority of Russia's territory and encompassing a diverse range of landscapes, climates, and cultures. Stretching from the Ural Mountains in the west to the Pacific Ocean in the east, and from the Arctic Ocean in the north to the steppes of Central Asia in the south, Siberia covers approximately 13 million square kilometers, making it larger than any single country except Russia itself. Despite its immense size, Siberia is sparsely populated, with much of its land covered in dense boreal forests, frozen tundras, and mountainous terrain. The region is infamous for its brutal winters, with temperatures in places like Oymyakon dropping below 50 degrees Celsius, earning it a reputation as one of the coldest inhabited areas on the planet. Yet beneath its icy surface lies a treasure trove of natural resources, including vast reserves of oil, natural gas, coal, gold, and diamonds, making it a powerhouse of the Russian economy. Siberia is also home to Lake Baikal, the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake, known for its crystal clear waters and unique biodiversity. The permafrost that underlies much of Siberia plays a critical role in stabilizing the climate by storing vast amounts of carbon. However, due to global warming, this permafrost is now thawing, releasing greenhouse gases and threatening both local ecosystems and the global climate. Despite its isolation and severe environment, Siberia boasts a rich cultural heritage, with numerous indigenous groups such as the Yakuts, Buryats, and Evenks preserving their languages, traditions, and lifestyles in harmony with nature. The legendary Trans-Siberian Railway, which traverses the entire region, has long served as a lifeline connecting remote communities and showcasing the sheer scale and mystery of this magnificent land. Siberia, in all its frozen beauty and ecological importance, remains one of the last great frontiers of the natural world. In addition to its immense geographical and ecological significance, Siberia holds a complex and often somber place in human history. During the Soviet era, it became notorious for its network of gulag labor camps, where millions of prisoners, political dissidents, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens were exiled out and forced to work in brutal conditions. These camps, scattered throughout the remote wilderness, left deep scars on the cultural memory of Russia and its people. Today, remnants of that dark past can still be found in crumbling buildings and memorials, silently testifying to the endurance of those who suffered. Despite this history, Siberia has also been a place of discovery, resilience, and deep connection to nature. Its indigenous peoples have lived in harmony with the land for thousands of years, developing unique spiritual and survival traditions deeply tied to the cycles of the forest, rivers, and stars. Modern Siberia is undergoing gradual transformation as cities like Novosibirsk, Tomsk, and Krasnoyarsk become centers of science, education, and industry, blending tradition with innovation. Yet, large swathes of the region remain untamed and largely unexplored, offering a glimpse into what Earth looked like before modern development took hold. From the shimmering northern lights dancing over icy plains to the haunting silence of snow-covered taiga stretching to the horizon, Siberia captures the imagination like few places on Earth. It is a land of extremes, of punishing cold and sublime beauty, of hardship and endurance, of ancient wisdom and untapped potential. Whether seen as a frontier, a refuge, or a mystery, Siberia stands as one of the last vast wildernesses where the power of nature still humbles even the most ambitious human endeavor. As the world looks increasingly toward remote regions for answers to pressing global challenges, Siberia's role on the planetary stage is becoming more crucial than ever. Scientists from around the globe are turning their attention to its vast permafrost zones, which act as both a warning and a key to understanding the pace of climate change. The thawing of this frozen ground is not only altering local ecosystems, causing landslides, sinkholes, and the release of ancient viruses, but also threatens to unleash massive amounts of trapped methane and carbon dioxide, accelerating global warming. In this way, Siberia functions as a kind of planetary barometer, quietly recording the impacts of human activity on a global scale. Meanwhile, Lake Baikal, with its ancient and isolated ecosystem, serves as a natural laboratory for biodiversity, hosting hundreds of species found nowhere else on Earth, including the Baikal seal, the only freshwater seal species in the world. Efforts to preserve such ecological treasures are growing, but they often clash with industrial expansion, especially in mining, logging, and energy extraction. This tension between conservation and development defines much of Siberia's present day narrative. Yet, amid these challenges, there is a growing sense of cultural and environmental revival. Indigenous communities are increasingly reclaiming their rights, languages, and ancestral lands, supported by global awareness and local activism. Ecotourism is also emerging as a sustainable alternative, drawing adventurous travelers eager to witness the raw, untamed beauty of Siberia's landscapes, from volcanic peaks of Kamchatka to the remote Arctic coastline where polar bears roam. In art and literature, Siberia continues to inspire as a symbol of exile, endurance, and spiritual awakening, often portrayed as a place where people confront the elements and themselves. Ultimately, Siberia is not just a distant, frozen region at the edge of the map. It is a living, breathing entity, complex, resilient, and essential to the story of both Russia and the planet. Its future, shaped by both natural forces and human choices, will have lasting consequences far beyond its icy borders. As the 21st century progresses, Siberia stands at a critical crossroads between preservation and progress, caught between its ancient rhythms and the relentless march of modernization. In the face of geopolitical shifts and global demand for resources, the Russian government has increased its focus on Siberia's economic development, investing in massive infrastructure projects such as pipelines, highways, and railways designed to extract and transport valuable commodities to domestic and international markets, particularly in China and Europe. However, this industrialization often comes at a steep cost to the environment and the traditional lifestyles of the indigenous populations. Deforestation, pollution from mining operations, and the displacement of native communities are becoming increasingly serious concerns. Yet, even as modernization encroaches, Siberia retains a powerful sense of isolation and mystique, a vast realm where time seems to move differently, and where nature still commands profound respect. Culturally, Siberia is a rich mosaic of languages, customs, and beliefs, many of which have survived centuries of change, conquest, and assimilation. Shamanism, once suppressed during the Soviet era, is experiencing a quiet resurgence in various communities, with rituals and practices being passed down to younger generations. The region's oral histories, epic poetry, folk music, and art continue to echo the spiritual connection its people share with the land, water, and sky. Meanwhile, urban centers across Siberia are becoming dynamic hubs of scientific research, especially in fields like geology, climate science, and space technology. Institutions in cities like Tomsk and Irkutsk are collaborating with international partners to better understand the region's role in the Earth's climate system and to innovate solutions that may one day benefit the world at large. Tourism, though still relatively limited due to logistical challenges, is gradually growing as well, offering visitors unforgettable experiences. Riding the Trans Siberian Railway across 7 time zones, hiking through pristine national parks like Stolby or Altai, or witnessing the surreal beauty of the Northern Lights in the Yakutia region. For many, Siberia is more than a destination. It is a journey into the heart of the Earth's wild past and an encounter with a still unfolding future. As humanity grapples with environmental uncertainty and the search for sustainable living, Siberia may hold not only resources, but also lessons about endurance, balance, and the enduring power of nature to shape the human spirit. Yet, despite its immense significance and untapped promise, Siberia remains one of the least understood and most mythologized places on Earth. Often depicted in literature and film as a land of exile, mystery, or desolation, it has long held a place in the global imagination as a frontier beyond civilization, both feared and revered. But beneath these sweeping narratives lies a far more nuanced and evolving reality. Siberia is not just a backdrop of ice and silence, it is a living world of resilience, adaptation, and quiet transformation. Its remote villages and towns, though often isolated, are home to vibrant communities who navigate both the hardships of the environment and the challenges of modern life with ingenuity and strength. In places where roads are impassable for months and winter stretches for most of the year, people find connection through shared traditions, seasonal festivals, and deep rooted respect for the land. Technological advances are slowly bridging the vast distances of Siberia, bringing internet access, renewable energy solutions, and medical services to areas that once had little contact with the outside world. At the same time, environmental scientists and climate activists are increasingly calling attention to Siberia's fragile ecosystems, advocating for protective measures and international cooperation to mitigate the effects of climate change. Projects to monitor melting permafrost, preserve endangered species, and support sustainable practices are gaining traction, led by both local researchers and global institutions. Importantly, the story of Siberia is also being reclaimed and told by its own people, indigenous leaders, young entrepreneurs, historians, and artists, who are working to ensure that their identities are not lost in the tides of development. Their voices are shaping a new narrative for Siberia, one that honors its past, recognizes its present complexities, and envisions a future where ecological balance and cultural integrity coexist. In the face of global uncertainty, Siberia offers not just raw materials or natural grandeur, but something even more vital, a glimpse of how life, in its most elemental form, continues to thrive against all odds. It is this spirit of quiet endurance bound to earth and sky that defines the true essence of Siberia: wild, enduring, and deeply human. This deep humanity that pulses through the heart of Siberia is often overshadowed by the magnitude of its geography, yet it is precisely in the quiet rhythms of daily life that the soul of the region reveals itself. In wooden houses warmed by coal stoves and surrounded by endless snow, families gather to share stories, songs, and centuries-old customs that speak of harmony with nature and survival through generations. In reindeer herding communities of the Nenets or Evenki, ancient migratory routes are still followed, echoing a way of life that predates modern borders and nation-states. In small towns nestled along the banks of frozen rivers, local markets, handcrafts, and folk festivals keep alive a rich cultural mosaic that resists simplification. The people of Siberia, shaped by isolation and harsh climates, often exhibit a profound sense of stoicism, community interdependence, and respect for both ancestors and the land. At the same time, modern Siberia is not static. Youth in cities like Krasnoyarsk and Yakutsk are blending tradition with modern creativity, launching startups, producing music and film in local languages, and sharing their perspectives with the world via digital platforms. Educational initiatives, often in partnership with global institutions, are equipping new generations to become guardians of their unique heritage while engaging with global challenges. Environmental stewardship, sustainable technologies, and cultural preservation are emerging as intertwined goals for the future. Siberia's importance goes beyond borders. It stands as a reminder of the Earth's raw beauty and power, and the delicate balance that must be maintained to protect it. It is a repository of knowledge, holding clues in its ice cores, forests, and indigenous wisdom about how ecosystems function, how climates shift, and how humans can live more harmoniously with the natural world. In a rapidly changing global landscape, Siberia may well be one of the few remaining places where ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science meet on equal ground. Its silence speaks volumes, not of emptiness, but of depth, memory, and continuity. As the world looks to the future, Siberia calls for a deeper kind of attention, not just as a resource to be mined or a frontier to be conquered, but as a sacred expanse to be understood, respected, and protected for generations to come. To truly understand Siberia is to step beyond the maps and metrics, and to feel the pulse of a land where time stretches and the natural world dominates human scale. Its vastness cannot be captured merely through statistics or satellite images. It is experienced in the whisper of wind through endless pine forests, the crackling of frozen rivers breaking in spring, the quiet endurance of people who have learned to live not in defiance of nature, but in rhythm with it. Siberia is a place where the seasons are not just a background, but central forces shaping every aspect of existence. Winters are not merely cold, they are transformational, sculpting landscapes into frozen cathedrals of ice and snow. Summers, though brief, explode with life. Wildflowers bloom across the tundra, rivers rush with melted snow, and animals migrate and mate in ancient primal cycles. In this majestic setting, one finds a deep sense of humility, a recognition that human ambition, however powerful, remains secondary to the will of the land. This humility is embedded in Siberian literature and folklore, which are rich with themes of endurance, exile, and spiritual revelation. Writers like Fyodor Dostoevsky, who was himself imprisoned in a Siberian labor camp, and later authors like Valentin Rasputin and Chingiz Aitmatov have all drawn on Siberia as both a physical and metaphysical landscape, an emotional frontier as much as a geographic one. In their stories, Siberia becomes a place where individuals confront their truest selves, stripped of distraction, ego, and pretense. Today, as the rest of the world becomes increasingly urbanized, digitalized, and disconnected from nature, Siberia remains a sanctuary of sorts, an ancient land holding fast to its primal identity. It reminds us of what the planet looked like before highways, skyscrapers, and megacities. It warns us, too, of the fragility of our environment, as the thawing permafrost, vanishing species, and shifting weather patterns signal the costs of global inaction on climate change. But most of all, Siberia offers hope that resilience, both human and ecological, still exists in powerful forms, that in the stillness of the taiga and the silence of the steppe, there are lessons waiting to be learned about patience, about respect, and about the deep, enduring bond between the earth and its inhabitants. In every sense, Siberia is not just a place on the map, it is a living testament to the untamed, uncompromising beauty of the natural world.